Hey, so I need some help cleaning some Game Boys. I was wondering if you can lend me a hand. Perfect. Thank you so much. So what we're first going to do is dust all of the Game Boys. So if you look right there, we have some dusting cloths. And I just recommend using one of these because they're very gentle. And they also do a really good job. Second thing we have are cleansing wipes. So if there's a lot of dirt or grime, we can use one of these to remove it. It's also good to sanitize items as well. And then the third thing we'll use is rubbing alcohol if it's needed. And I just like to use that with one of these cotton swabs so they can get in some hard to reach areas, especially around the buttons on the Game Boy. So as we go along, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be able to answer any of them, give you tips, whatever you have not been trained on yet. This is your first month working here. Okay, cool. And then lastly, we will also be checking the battery area. I want to make sure everything looks clean inside. Okay. So let me grab all the Game Boys. Alright, so I'm going to start with this purple one. And you can grab any that are in your box as well. They all need to be cleaned. So the first thing I'll do is just dust. So we'll get off the initial layer of dust, and it should just wipe right off. Is it working well? Good. Now if there's any scratches on screens, we won't worry about that today. One thing we do in the store is replace screens if they are pretty bad. So that is an option. And this specific Game Boy is missing the battery cover, and we actually do have a bin of extras, so I will likely replace that. So next I'm going to take the cleansing cloth. You just want to make sure it's not too damp, and it should come right off. Now this Game Boy is not in good condition at all, but we'll still put it out for a very low price. And likely somebody will purchase it. A lot of people who come into the store will purchase things and then go home and fix them. Because we do fix Game Boys, we do fix appliances here as a reminder. But some people prefer to do it themselves. Now there's a piece of tape on the side here, and I might remove it because I really don't know what it's for. I also see some sticker residue here, which I'm going to take off. Sometimes it's a little tricky to remove, but usually if you press hard enough, it will come off. Alright, let's see the sticker. Okay, so it looks like it served no purpose. So I'm going to try to remove the residue. Actually, I don't think it's going to come off. So I might have to work on this one separately later. Sometimes rubbing alcohol will work to get rid of the stickiness, but I will probably me see, the sticker on the back, it's kind of dirty too. Yeah, sometimes it's really difficult to clean some of these areas. Okay, and even though there's no battery pack, or battery cover, I'm sorry, I see that it's nice and clean inside, so we don't have to worry about corrosion at the moment. If there's ever batteries inside one of the Game Boys, make sure you remove them, just because we don't know how long they'll be sitting on the shelves before they sell, and we want them to stay nice and clean. Okay, so for now I think this is fine. I think this just needs to dry off, then maybe get a little bit of a deeper clean. Again, this one will sell for a lower price since it's not in the best condition. So I will set this aside. So now we have a Game Boy Pocket, and you can see the layer of dust. It's usually the screens that get really, really dusty. And this is probably the other one that really isn't in great condition. I'm going to try to clean a little bit down here, but I think some of this is just stained. We do get a lot of Game Boys traded in that had stickers on them, and unfortunately sometimes it really is hard to get off. Just check the battery area. Okay, looks nice and clean. So yeah, you can just follow along with me. And are yours coming clean? Good. Okay, so we'll leave this one for now. But honestly, besides the dust, it wasn't in terrible condition. Just again, some scratches on the front and back. Now here's a lime green Game Boy color. This one's definitely a little bit better condition. So again, we will dust. Now for this one, I don't think I see any areas that need to be deep cleaned. Maybe one area right here. Check the battery compartment. Just see a little bit of residue right there. So I'm going to grab it. Just kind of getting some dust out. So this looks perfect. Always check the back of the battery covers too, just for dust. Alright, perfect. Now this one is definitely dusty on the outside. And are you familiar with this model? Yes, so the Game Boy SP. And it has the clamshell design and the backlight. Now, what I didn't mention is once we're done cleaning, I will have you just test all of these, make sure they're in perfect condition. So I usually suggest for at least 2 separate games to be tested in each Game Boy, just to guarantee that everything is working well. So I'm going to scrub the outside here a little bit with the sanitizing wipe. Just looks a little bit dirty. Also some scratches, but nothing too bad. And yeah, when you test, you want to just make sure all of the buttons are working. This sticker is a little discolored, but that's okay. And then here, actually this looks pretty clean, but I'm just going to dust around these buttons. Now, did you play a lot of games on Game Boy? You still do? Which one's your favorite? Nice, yeah, I like the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy Color. I think they're both my favorite. Now this one's just a little extra dusty, so I'm just cleaning the edges of the screen. So now this looks really good. This just has to dry on the top a little bit. So we'll set this one in the completed pile. Now we have an original Game Boy. And I forgot to mention for the SP, the batteries are inside of it, so we don't have to worry about checking for anything. And there's a charger that goes with it, so I can give that to you when we're done. Alright, so just dusting. This one doesn't have too much dust, so this is pretty clean. Let's check the battery area. Okay, very, very nice. So you can see definitely no corrosion. And for an original Game Boy, this looks really nice. Alright, so I'm just going to pop that back on. I just see a little bit of dust in these grooves here. So I think I just might get some rubbing alcohol to try to get it out easily. going to go through every single one and try to get most of it out. I can already see most of it is coming out. Now I'm also going to clean the grooves on each side. And I usually deep clean our items that we get traded in the mornings before the store opens. So that's what I'd suggest doing when you have time. I know that you've been training on a lot of different things lately. So now I'm going to do this side. Same thing. Just getting the dust. And what was the first Game Boy you had? Yeah, I think the most memorable for me is the Game Boy Color. Because we had this in my house, but I was a little too young. So Game Boy Color is kind of the first one I fell in love with. So this looks good. I think we have one more, so let's grab it. Now the Game Boy Advance. Okay, so definitely some dust on the screen. So let's get it off. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why we keep all of our games and consoles in glass cases. It just helps with the amount of dust they collect. It's not perfect by any means, and we do try to dust everything like every few weeks, whenever it looks like it's building up, but might have you help with that. So I'm not seeing anything that really needs to be deep cleaned. Some more smudges right here. But I am going to clean around the buttons a little bit. Star and select, look fine. And then I'm just going to clean right around this D-pad. But it looks pretty clean. Let's test the buttons. Perfect. This looks really, really nice. And we can see it looks nice and clean in there. But I also have to just check the battery area. Okay, so it looks really nice. Let me get a different cotton swab. Yeah, this one looks good too. So no need for a deep cleaning. Now if there was corrosion, you could just put some rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab and really just work it into it. It should kind of crumble off, and then you can sometimes just blow it out or use like a toothpick, anything small to get in and remove all of it. This one looks good as well. Alright, so I think that's all for right now. Are you almost finished? Perfect. So like I said, when you're done, I will ask you to please test them and then let me know if there's any issues, okay? Well, thanks for your help. I definitely will need help with another trade-in soon, so I always appreciate your willingness. So, have a great day here in the game store. You're a wonderful employee, and I will talk to you in a little